guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Josie, and if you have been following my entire journey, I have been recording everything from when I applied last June till now. Obviously changes are coming to the channel, but I hope that the videos keep you guys motivated as I kind of trudge my way through dental school. But anyway, I wanted to make this video because I know that interview offers have already been given out, but most of them are coming now at the end of August. So I want you guys to be ready. Try to stick around through the entire video, and at the end I'm going to announce a new promo where I will let you guys know what you have the ability to win just because you guys are amazing and you watch. So stick around. Okay, so I have these written down because there are 10. I'm not Superwoman, and I want to make sure that I let you guys know everything that I learned from 7 dental school interviews. So yes, I did interview at 7 dental schools. I've seen a bunch of different interview processes, and I got into all 7, so I think I did okay on my interviews. So the number one thing that people tell you that is like the biggest cliche, and we'll get it out of the way quickly, is that your interview starts when you step off the plane. And that is so true because you don't know who is going to be sitting next to you on that plane. And that's not an exaggeration. Truly. If you're dressed in, like, I don't know, your PJs because you want to fly comfortably, maybe upgrade to like leggings or a regular t-shirt or whatever it is, but just look a little bit more put together than you normally would. And make sure that when you get to the hotel, when you're walking around the school and there's anyone there, administration, a janitor, a student, anyone you meet, please be kind to them. It is so important. And you would believe that this is like, again, common sense, but most people don't actually do this, and they will treat administration as lower. They will treat the person that's cleaning as lower than them, and guess what? Somebody's gonna notice and somebody's gonna say something. So please be on your best behavior and be the amazing people I know you can be. My next tip is an important tip. Why? Because I think a lot of people don't realize that you actually do this until maybe you do a mock interview and somebody says, hey, can you tone it down? So that is sounding rehearsed. So when you sound rehearsed, you don't really notice it as much because you're like, oh, I've been prepping for my interview questions and I've got this in the bag and this is amazing and I'm gonna kill it. Except maybe you've been rehearsing the same questions and the same answers over and over and over. And guess what happens? Let's say you get nervous. You're going to be looking for that word that you've been saying the whole time, and maybe you're not going to adapt as quickly. What I recommend is having not a rehearsed answer, but a prepared answer with maybe keywords for the most common ones, like why dentistry, right? Biggest strengths, biggest weakness, or going through conflict. So those are common questions that you can kind of have keywords for. Maybe don't make them like whole paragraphs. That way you're able to adapt if something happens. Okay, so that's how I recommend doing that. One of the things that I did when it came to actually prepping for the question, I would look at the school's website, I would look at their mission. Obviously, a lot of the schools that I applied to, I already had an idea of why I was applying to them. I attended virtual sessions. Look up on YouTube and just take a look and see what they've been doing. How does it align with your application, with you as an applicant? That's so important. How do they take you from a batch of like every other applicant and realize that you're the one that wants it the most, right? You're gonna want to pinpoint and say little things that will let them know that you've maybe been looking at them for a while. Why don't you name drop somebody that you met at a virtual like fair? Why don't you let them know, you know, a specific program that they've implemented or why that interests you? So those are things that are really, really important. And then I know some people have previous questions that other schools ask. Be very careful with those because those do change, and if those are the only questions that you practice and they ask something new, guess what? You're going to be, for a better word, screwed. So don't do it, okay? And then just try to be as honest as possible and match your application as much as possible the night before. Make sure you reread, especially if you had secondary applications that you submitted. reread those the morning of. Make sure you reread the mission statement. Make sure you do all of these things and you will be fine. My next tip comes with what questions you should have prepared. So you should have 3 types of questions prepared. Why do I say this? Because most interviews will have a general panel, a student panel, and of course the much dreaded but super fun interview. I think it's important because this makes you look attentive. Not saying that you're not, but it kind of lets them know and makes you stand out, because at the end of the day when they deliberate, they're going to think of you, the person that's been asking questions. So the general panel will usually be an information session about the school. So they will tell you about the school, they will tell you just everything that you're kind of wanting to know from an administration's perspective, and they will kind of walk you through their curriculum. Have like 1 to 3 questions prepared about the school in that section. And then when it comes to the student panel, that can either be with a tour. When they walk you through the tour, guess what? Those people are also still probably trying to get some feedback about you to give to the administration. So a lot of times they will tell you, oh no, this is not where we're judging you, just feel free to ask anything. And it's true. Those times when you're doing a tour or when you have a private session with a couple of students is not meant to scare you or judge you, but if you obviously have a personality or a demeanor where it looks like you don't care, or where it looks like maybe you're somewhere else, I'm sure they'll probably relay some of that feedback, but they won't talk about like what you asked them. Okay, so that's how I want to differentiate that. So what's really important is you ask these students took the time, they're there, they're part of the interview session, they know things about the school, and they're probably usually more willing to tell you things that administration is not going to tell you. So ask them anything like, where are you living, or what do you recommend for somebody who's out of state? Everybody always gets a kick of out of state students and the things that they ask. Ask them about how they adjusted. Ask them about how the school deals with adapting to student requests. Like when your class puts in a request because something isn't working, how does that work? Is there a committee? Maybe ask them about clubs that you've seen on their website and you're interested about. Let them know that you're there and you're obviously asking questions because you're very, very interested. During the tour, ask relevant questions like you really want to go to that school, right? That's the most important part. Hold the doors for people. Say thank you when they hold the door for you. Make sure that if you happen to be at a round table student session, whether it's here with the students or let's say you have a general administration panel, make sure that if somebody else asks a question, what's really cool? When you say something and you acknowledge that question. Okay, you were just listening to the student. This shows a different level of commitment. It shows a different level of, understanding. And then go ahead, qualify them, and then ask your question. So do little things like that, and you will seem, like you're there for a reason and a purpose, and you're there to get into that school. So let's say the school tells you what kind of interview session they have. If it's something like MMI, which are multiple mini interviews, and you're not familiar with them, go ahead and YouTube it. I've seen more for medical students, clearly, because they do a lot more MMI. More dental schools are starting to adopt MMI, so I would just take a look and see what the MMI is about. Alright, so what happens if you're done with interviews? Do not send gifts. Don't send gifts, don't do it. Make sure you actually send a nice thank you email. Don't freak out if they don't respond. Most of the time they will respond. But just send a little thank you email and maybe just mention a specific part so that they remember who you are. For example, I think I asked one of my interviewers what would be a good place to go eat after to de-stress or whatever, and they mentioned a specific area of town where they have really good Mediterranean food. And so then when I wrote the thank you email, I mentioned, thank you so much, I was able to go try this and this food, blah 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 blah. He'll probably remember more of our conversation now than just me saying, hey, what's up? Although some schools will give pictures to the interviewers because they'll take a picture of you that day, or because you sent one in. It's still a really good and nice thing to do for them so that they don't have to scrounge through paperwork to see who you are. Something important during interview day is don't be a loner. Dentistry is a very social career. You will have to talk to people all day long, and luckily most of us are like that. I mean, just you're gonna walk into the interview room and you're gonna find a couple little copies of yourself, which is really funny to see. But that's what it is. So if you're interested in becoming a dentist, let them know that you are social. You know, you don't have to be, obviously, all the time. There are candidates that come in that are phenomenal candidates that aren't necessarily like jumping off the walls to talk to people. That's not what I'm talking about. You can be an introvert but still be somewhat social. So when you come into the interview space, even when you're waiting and the day hasn't even started, sit next to someone. Don't come in and sit on the other side of the room. People are looking. So make sure you sit next to someone. Maybe find somebody that looks a little bit introverted like you, or if you're an extrovert, definitely try not attacking the people that are not as social. And that leads me to my next tip. Do not look at your fellow interviewees as enemies. They are your friends that day. They will help you through the stress. They will help you feel better. You will actually make sometimes even long life friends. Like, I still have everyone that I was close to during my interview days on my Instagram and my Facebook, and we congratulate each other and we like cheer each other on, and we all ended up going to different schools. So I think that's pretty cool. Please be open to meeting and being there for someone else. My next step would be dress to impress. That's a common sense one, but you will not believe. And dress to impress, that includes your hair and your makeup. Girls, please, if you're going to contour, make sure you blend it out. I have seen so many contours done where they literally left an entire dark shade here. There was no blending, no anything. Guys, you don't know what I mean, but you might see it. Guys, your hair, please make sure you comb it that day. So important and so easy for you to do. Definitely no sandals. Make sure you do that. It's really important that you guys are true to your sense of style, but do not push it, okay? I know a lot of people call the interview days a funeral because everyone's kind of wearing the same thing, but if you want to be kind of clever, make sure it's something small, like a little pin, or maybe for you guys like a handkerchief, different colors. That's what I would recommend. Don't be scared to wear a dress, girls, if you want to. I saw plenty of girls do it. I personally don't like how I look in long pants for like business casual or business attire. So definitely like a cute pencil skirt or a dress if you'd like. Just think, what would you wear if you were like going to Senate, and then make yourself a little bit younger. One other tip that I would have would be have a good breakfast. A lot of times schools will offer breakfast, but you don't know what it's going to be. For us bigger girls, or those of us who just need that extra fuel because, I don't know, you're a marathon runner, have a little bit of breakfast, or maybe take something from your hotel with you, because sometimes it could just be fruits and water, or sometimes it's a full-blown breakfast. You never know, and you don't want to be hangry during your interview. Really important. And it's good if you take a small snack throughout the day that maybe will not like stain your teeth or get anything stuck in your teeth, so that you can hold yourself or sustain yourself between then and lunchtime. And last two tips are more of calming you guys down. The cycle is very long. Please do not fret if you have not heard from a school. Make sure that you've used all the tools. I have videos on how to build your school list. Go through that and see if you did everything that you could to make sure that you have the best possible chance. Take a look at some of my other videos to see kind of what my interview days were like, because in those videos, so I have an entire series called Mystery Cities. At the end, I talk about my entire interview experience for that specific school, and you might get some tips from that, because obviously that was a lot fresher than what I'm doing now. Let's say you have pre-December interviews, December 1st comes and you don't hear from someone, or you actually get denied. Your better chances are, if you don't hear or you get waitlisted, do a letter of intent. Still communicate with these schools. Update them with what you're doing, with the kind of volunteering, the kind of assisting, or anything extra that you're doing with your time, so that they know that you're still so interested and that you get that call, because things happen. Things are shifting. Like, people will decline things probably in April. We just had a girl on our class's Facebook page that had to basically tell us, hey, how can someone take over my lease? Do you guys know where I can offer it to someone? Does anybody want to buy my scrubs? she has to give up her seat for personal reasons. This late in the game, guess what? Somebody's going to be called. And that's crazy. Like, you guys need to stay on top of it, communicate, fight for what you want. You work this hard. So those are my interview tips. I have tons more, so if you guys want to talk to me or message me, dentaljosie@gmail.com. Follow me on Instagram @JosieDental, and you can slide into my DMs there and ask me some questions. That's probably the fastest way to reach me, and that way you can get some of your questions answered, specifically of something that maybe I did not mention. Like I said, check out Mystery Cities if you want to see those interview days, and maybe if you want to scroll to the end and kind of see what that day was like. One last tip I would like to share with you. I actually made a little portfolio with like a picture of all of my experiences throughout undergrad, and I think that went over really well. A lot of the admissions committee members really appreciated me validating some of the experiences I had written down in my application. So I came in with like a very cute printed book. You can make it at CVS, super cheap, find a coupon, put in a bunch of pictures, some descriptions. It works wonders when you get stuck in an interview and maybe there's something that you want to share about yourself. You can just point to it in the book. I thought that it was a really cool idea, and I thought I would share it with you guys. Hopefully now they don't have a wave of people showing up with with portfolios. Also be mindful, some schools will tell you that because of the style of the interview, maybe they don't want you to bring something, so make sure that you kind of read all of their interview guidelines before you take that step, okay? And I guess now we can announce our promo. So you guys have been so good. I love hearing about what's going on with your cycle. I love hearing about what's going on with school, and I've formed so many great relationships with you all. And look at us, we're almost at 400 followers. So I wanted to announce the next promo. We are going to go ahead and try something new. So since interview season is here, I'm giving away a free mock interview session one-on-one with me before your interview. So if you know you have an interview coming up and you want to go ahead and do this, let me know. You have to be obviously somebody that's part of the family, so you have to be following, and you have to let me know with a comment or any possible way that you want to let me know that you want to be considered for this. Go ahead. I will again put everything in a little hat or something like we did for the personal statement, and then whoever wins, I'll announce it. I hope that this was super helpful. I can't wait to do a mock interview with one of you. I know it helped me tons to do something like that before my interview, so I'm so excited, you guys. I hope this video was helpful. Check out my recent series of PSP. This was a program that I did during the summer, and check out all the other videos and playlists when you have a chance. I hope you like it, and I hope you like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.